Folks, for 5 decades, governments have been giving away power to big business, and you and me are suffering as a result. And the worst of it is, reflecting Einstein's definition of madness, the big parties keep doing this over and over again and expecting a different result. For you and me, that just means life keeps costing more and more, while the tech bros and think tankers keep getting richer and richer, and governments focus on an ever-decreasing pool of things that they can actually influence. Give it a couple more years and you'll only be able to tell the parties apart by their little colourful 3-word slogans. Back in 2018, the author and journalist Rana Dasgupta wrote about this in an article he titled "The Demise of the Nation State," and I'll put a link down below in the description. His main point was that our old political structures were completely unable to cope in the world that had been created. A melting pot of deregulated finance, autonomous technology, religious militancy, and great power rivalry. So here's the problem. States used to be responsible for delivering a whole range of different things, from education and welfare to health, culture, and even the most basic function of security. But the privatisation sinkhole opened up by Thatcher in the UK and Reagan in the States means that there are actually fewer and fewer things that governments can really influence. And the result is the growing inequality that you and I see in our lives. And it's only getting worse. In America, for example, money already trumps intelligence, pun very much intended, and that's spreading to Europe too. Our political leaders are completely out of their depths. I mean, how the hell are they going to cope with the rise of AI? They increasingly act as if they were CEOs of major corporations, but CEOs of corporations can actually influence a lot more of the environment in which they operate than politicians can, including, by the way, their influence in politics, which they buy through donations to political parties and politicians, and by funding seemingly innocuous think tanks. Look at the OxyContin scandal in the States if you want to see how quickly the pursuit of profit can make lives utterly miserable for ordinary people. In his brilliant book, The Myth of Normal, the trauma psychologist Gabor Mate records Rod Lustig saying this of big business: "It's not that they want you to die, it's just that they don't care if what they're selling kills you." Mate goes on to say that our increasingly ineffective leaders govern over a majority who, and I'll have to quote here, "so crave comfort and stability, who are so ground down by cynicism and alienation, that they trade their authentic instincts for false promises and soothing charisma." Those leaders, out of their depths and floundering, enact policies that at best keep things the way they were, but often make things worse. So what can we do? Well, the first thing is just to start noticing how political decisions impact your everyday life. And then you can ask whether the politicians begging for your votes are actually likely to improve the quality of your lives. Then you could start asking a few questions. Why is it we keep deregulating finance when financiers keep crashing the markets? Why don't governments renationalise critical national industries, or at least limit the profits that they can squeeze out of what we used to own? Why do we as citizens have so little power? If you don't join forces with your friends and neighbours to do something to influence the quality of politics in the town, region or country where you live, wherever in the world you might be watching this, then you're going to keep seeing big business and dark money winning at your expense. Life might be uncomfortable now, but if you don't start doing something, it is certainly not going to get any better. In the UK, you can visit the website They Work For You, which I'll link down below, to look up who your local representative is or local representatives are, see how they've been voting, and get a feel for whether what they're doing is having a positive or a negative influence on your life. You'll also find links there to allow you to not only find who your representatives are, but link directly to be able to write to them to let them know whether you think they're doing a good or a bad job. Whatever you do, don't do nothing. So I'll close out by reminding you to stay sane, keep your humanity, and try to make somebody smile today. Till next time.